Good afternoon, colleagues. I am Dr. Otis Clayton, the Turnaround Principal 901, coming out of the 901. And the purpose of this video is to give you some research-based strategies with a pragmatic approach and also share some experience so that you can assist your school leaders with increasing student achievement and growth. So today we're talking about coaching, hands-on or hands-off. So if you know anything about training, I was watching Mike Rashid training video and he was working with this guy, and you notice that good trainers are right next to the person that they are working with. So I took that approach when I started to develop the coaching framework for turnaround leadership. So I think that it definitely needs to be hands-on. When you're hands-on, it also increases your skill, and iron sharpens iron. So there are four parts to the coaching framework that I use. One is setting expectations and goals. If you don't have expectations and goals, you cannot have a true north. You are like a ship without a rudder. You will not go anywhere. So set expectations and goals for what it is that you want to see in the classroom, as well as academic goals and growth goals for students. The second thing is having an instructional framework from which to speak about. So my instructional framework has four parts, and I adopted it using some of the information from the Fundamental Five, the formula for quality instruction. So the first thing that we do is I expect teachers to frame the lesson, set the objective, talk about the standard, and discuss in detail or overarching what students will be expected to do that day. The second thing is frequent small group and conversation among students. The third thing is to check for understanding. So teachers will use a strategy we call TAPL to check for understanding. And finally, we want students to write critically. Part of turnaround work is to have a good literacy foundation. So we have several, well, not several, we have about three literacy strategies that we use school wide to increase students' academic prowess, because I just believe that reading and writing are inextricably linked. So if a student can write well, they can read well, and vice versa. The third part of our coaching framework is feedback and follow up. So I had a conversation with a teacher last week, and the feedback did not get implemented as best as it could have been, and that was my fault, because when I went back and looked at the when I went back to look at the feedback notes, I made a suggestion. Today I made it a directive, but I also coached the teacher about around what I had observed. I didn't talk about what I think happened. I had careful detailed notes from the feedback to share with them so that we could follow up. And then finally, when I went into the classroom, I was able to support the teacher because they were a little apprehensive about implementing the strategy, because they didn't have the growth mindset that I thought that they would have at this point in the school year. So I just jumped in and I started to assist with implementing the strategy the way that I know that it will keep students engaged and increase their achievement and growth. So I think that by doing that, I made it possible to have more motivation, extrinsic motivation for the teacher as well as for the students. So the four parts of the coaching framework that we use are setting expectations and goals is number one, having an instructional framework from which to talk to teachers about their planning and what you want to see in the classroom. The third thing is the feedback and follow up. What did I see in the classroom? What am I coming back to see? And then modeling. And I also want to say, so from the modeling that I did for the teacher, when I did the modeling for the teacher, they were able to successfully implement it the next class period without my help. I did leave some of the materials that I used to help her facilitate. So I know that it's possible, and I know that this work is difficult and hard, but it can be done. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share this post with other school leaders. I am Dr. Otis Clayton, Turnaround Principal 901. Have a great day.